So this is a quick video on how I use AI to improve my Canvas quizzes. And AI helps me write something called regular expressions that I can use with the fill in the blank questions in Canvas so that it'll make the student entry more flexible and it'll grade them as correct. And let me just show you some examples. Okay, this is a simple question that asks what color are roses, and it's a fill in the blank question, and I've coded it to accept 4 different colors, but I've also coded it to ignore case sensitivity. So it means whether there's some use of capital and lowercase letters, it'll ignore that and still mark it correctly. And this can be done using regular expressions, and regular expressions are called regex for short. And you don't have to know how to code because your AI will do it for you. I am going to use ChatGPT to generate the code for this example. So I leave the title blank, or you can put a title. Here's the question stem, which is where we put our question. What color are roses? Name one. And then I put one answer inside of here with the backticks to generate the fill in the blank. But then I come down to the text match and choose from the drop-down menu regular expressions match. And you can see here is the code for it. This is the regex code. And all of these little parts have a meaning to it, but you don't need to know that. If you don't want to, you just go to your ChatGPT or whichever AI you want to use, and you ask it to generate the code for you. Just to take you through this, this first part says a question mark I means ignore case sensitivity. The beginning and ending, those are just the notation to let the machine know that you're beginning and ending your regex expression. And then we see these vertical bars mean or, and we have 4 answers, red or white or yellow or pink, and ignore the case notation, and all of these would be marked correct. So let's go to the AI and generate this code. So I went to ChatGPT. I said, generate a Canvas LMS regular expression to accept red, white, yellow, pink as correct answers and ignore case sensitivity. So as always, you have to be descriptive with your prompts, with your AI. And let's look at the answer. ChatGPT generated this code for us, and we were able to just hit copy code and then paste it in. And it also gives us an explanation. So if you want to learn how to generate simple regex expressions, you can, because it might be simpler than going to your AI if you're just doing something simple like this. It's just a bunch of ors with their answers and an instruction to ignore the case sensitivity. So this is easy enough to write, but again, you just go to your AI and have it generate it for you. It also tells you and shows you examples of what we'll accept as correct. So we have red with a capital R, lowercase ed, all cap red, all lowercase red, and a bunch of different combinations of case sensitivity. And you saw in my example that yellow had like cases in between that were upper and lowercase, and it still marks it as correct. The other nice thing is that after you've done this, it'll ask you if you want some other type of modifications to your answer. It says, if you want, I can also modify it to allow students to type multiple colors separated by commas or spaces. So if you want to accept multiple answers from the students, it will generate that for you. Simply type in yes and hit enter, and it'll update the code, and you would use that code instead. So here's another question. This is for the math people. What ordered pair represents the origin of the coordinate plane? Use proper point notation, and we're expecting something with parentheses 0, 0. And here, I had ChatGPT include marking things correct if students put spaces in between parentheses and the comma. So we see that this \s means a space, and then they use an asterisk to say as many spaces as the student typed is okay, and then the question mark says if it's there or not there, mark it as correct. So again, type this into ChatGPT, it gave me the code, you can copy and paste it in, and it gives you an explanation for the code below it. This explains all the different parts of the code, and then they show you some different answers that would be marked as correct. The first one has no spaces. The second one has a space before and after each 0. The third one has just 1 space. The fourth one has a space. And then my answer had multiple spaces. I did, like 2 spaces between the 0 and the comma, no spaces after, and it marks it all correct. But maybe you want the students to enter more than one answer, and all of the answers have to be entered to be correct. And the answers could be entered in any order. So here's one that asks, what colors are the American flag? Name all, and we're expecting red, white, and blue. After I type in my answer, this is the only answer it accepts until you go down and say, let's use regular expressions. And then we go to Canvas and we ask it to generate the code. And my prompt was, accept red, white, or blue in any order, with spaces between it allowed, with commas between it allowed, and with ampersands or the word and between it allowed. And you can see here's the ampersand and the and. So I gave a lot of instruction and it generated the code. And this code allowed me to type red, white, or blue, red, comma, blue, comma, ampersand, white, and a whole bunch of different combinations. And then also we have the ignore case. So if it had capital red or lowercase red, it didn't matter. And here's another math example that requires more than one answer. And this question asks for all of the relative extrema. So they have to identify these 3 points. And they can identify these 3 points in any order. They can put commas between them, semicolons between them, spaces between them, and they would all be accepted as correct. And here is the regex code again. Just simply have to go to ChatGPT and describe everything you want, be detailed with your prompt. And this is just the output. You can see how I typed white and it marked it correct. You can see how I put all these extra spaces after the second 0 for the origin. You can see how I put red, white, and blue in this order. I used the word and I messed up the capitalization throughout. And here are my 3 points. One of them separated by a comma, one of them not. But if we change these point orders around, it still marks it correct. So this adds a lot of flexibility to Canvas fill in the blank questions using regular expressions and let the AI generate that code for you so that you don't have to stress over it.